Train surfing, train hopping, freight hopping. These are terms that describe a very intriguing way of traveling by train. It can be free, and you can even make some cash on the side. You just need to find the right train and discreetly hop into a wagon unnoticed. Then your goal is to collect as many coins as possible. Train hopping became popular in the 19th century, but I think people could have been doing it much earlier. You know, when something is invented, there's often someone who starts using it in ways that break the law. Artificial intelligence, deepfakes, baseball bats, Tesla's autopilot. Trains are no exception. They were invented to transport legal or illegal goods from point A to point B, and they continue to serve that purpose today. But at some point, humans became one of those illegal goods. About 150 years ago, freight hopping became a common means of transportation among migrant workers in the USA. They used to do it for the money, and they were called hobos. Today, in many places around the world, especially in poor and overpopulated areas, not much has changed. People often engage in train hopping out of financial necessity. In wealthier parts of the world, train surfing hasn't disappeared either. The difference is that those practicing this sport are not called hobos now. They're called YouTubers, TikTokers, or idiots. You can find many YouTube channels that popularize train surfing and even make a living from it. Today, in my opinion, Shai is the biggest promoter of train hopping. Thanks to this Lithuanian adventurer, I started wondering why my girlfriend is still with me. The guy engages in train surfing, bus surfing, sneaks into bunkers or space research stations, and he even raps about it. I haven't seen all of his journeys, though. I just couldn't stand the feeling that I want to live like him. But let's get back to the story. There are a few achievements you can gain in train surfing. For example, you can try to survive. It's also good to survive and not end up in prison. Another big achievement is tackling the toughest routes. One of the most challenging routes you can take is traveling in the same way your parents used to go to school. The second place contender is a 20-plus hour journey in a freight train carrying iron ore across the Sahara. If you want to lower the difficulty level a bit, you can undertake such journeys in a place where the weather won't try to kill you. There are many popular destinations for train hoppers. Among the easier countries to travel this way were Russia and Ukraine. You see, some countries getting caught can land you behind bars, but in Russia and Ukraine, it's just a few bucks in fines. At least that's what people say on Reddit. Another feather in your cap is getting your hands on the so-called Crew Change Guide. It's a legendary train hopper manual that hobos in the USA and Canada used to use. It's the holy grail of freight hopping, passed down hand to hand. It's the basic guide that gives precise directions to exact locations to catch freight trains in freight yards across the United States or Canada. If you manage to obtain this Bible, you can consider yourself successful. You know, just having a conversation with another person is already a big success. There are various techniques in train hopping, all depending on how much you're willing to risk your life for a few followers. For example, you can cling to a ladder or anything else on the side of the wagon. This position allows the traveler to record perfect TikToks. Standing on top of the wagon is another option. You can also ride inside the wagon in the classic way. Traveling inside the wagon has additional benefits. You can sleep in it. You can also hide in them because wagons are sometimes checked at stations. You can also ride beneath the train, which is generally a pretty average idea. People in the past used to call it riding the rods. It's like life without health insurance. Well, you can technically do it, but you never know if you'll survive the way to your workplace. An undescribed technique not found on Wikipedia is jumping into a regular passenger wagon. You have to hide in the bathroom and not come out until the train reaches its destination. This is also illegal and dangerous. The scenario for starting train surfing often looks like this. You're up late watching random stuff on YouTube and you stumble upon train surfing. Suddenly you're like, oh my god, it is so exciting. I want to do this. You plan the whole trip, but when the day comes to leave your home, you're like, maybe I'll do it another day. Unless you're not me. You might see this as a legit way to explore the world. All you need is some camping gear, snacks, and a lack of common sense, and you're good to go. You sit in the bushes near the tracks for a whole day, sometimes even a night. When you notice a train approaching, you have to hop on it. If it's moving too fast or not moving at all, you might spend another night in those bushes, which might be a fairly positive scenario, because at least you won't die.